Hey, what's going on, everybody? So today we're going to be talking about my preferred carry weapon. I do carry a couple different guns just depending on sometimes just whatever's closest when I leave the house, and sometimes whatever is in my glove box when I leave the car. It really depends. But this is my preferred carry weapon. First of all, because of its size, because of its capacity, and it's honestly a joy to shoot. It's a tack driver. If you get even a little bit good with it, it's got a decent crispy trigger on it, and yeah, let's talk about it a little bit.
Alrighty then. So when you purchase this firearm, I think they're around $350 new normally. During quarantine hell, who knows how much they are. If anyone even has them right now. It's been ridiculous trying to get new stuff in. But yeah, they're like $350, $400, something like that. I got mine used around $250. Really good price for what I got, I think. And it comes with a single magazine in the box. Second magazine is like $28. So we're gonna start at the bottom, move our way forward. First things first. As you saw, the firearm is clear. So I don't know if you can even see that, but it's clear. There's no mag in it. We're all good to go. So the grip itself is stippled on both sides, as well as the front and the back. And honestly, it's some of the nicest stippling I've had to deal with. It's not overly aggressive. Like the FNX 45 is one of my favorite pistols, but it has spikes. I swear to God, like the most aggressive stippling you've ever seen on the grip. So this is a nice change from that. This is very subtle, but definitely improves grip, especially if your hands are wet, and it's got that nice little Ruger emblem and stuff in there. It looks pretty stylish. So coming up from that stippled grip, we have this absolutely wonderful little beaver tail there. That just kind of, your hand just kind of melts into that. It's extraordinarily easy to grip, very, very comfortable. And even with the mag out, my pinky's not falling off the bottom of the gun. Extremely easy to really, really get your webbing in there and get a straight line grip. It's pretty fluid. It's nothing you have to really force yourself into. The grip angle on this thing is very, very nice as well. Extremely comfortable and not something that is going to shock you. It kind of reminds me of the SIG angle of attack on the grip there, especially with kind of the bulging back strap here. But it's just kind of instantaneously very, very comfortable to get your hand in there. The mag release is not ambidextrous, but it can be switched from side to side. Tension on it is very good. I've never had a problem with accidentally grabbing it. And like I said, you can switch sides if you are a lefty. The magazines themselves, I'll unload this just so everyone is super comfortable. Yeah, that's a full compliment right there. Very, very nice. It is a 15+1 pistol, so yeah, you're carrying plenty of ammunition there. But the magazines themselves, they're well constructed. I don't know, I can't crush it or anything like that. It's not warping. This is the original one that I got with it. It's got a little, like somebody put crayon on the bottom of it. I don't know, who knows. But they're very nice. And the beautiful thing about this is that once you get to about there, it's all free, and then you can feel yourself hit that catch. And beyond that, there's an extremely positive click when the magazine actually engages. So there's really no mistaking, like you can't accidentally put your mag in like that because it just wants to get sucked right up inside there. It's very, very nice, and it is of course spring loaded. So it's very easy to drop free if you're at any sort of angle, but if I'm horizontal here, it's still coming out that much. See if I can do it. Yeah, even upside down, it pops up just a little bit. The spring load on it is very good. So these have no issue whatsoever dropping free. If you're switching mags, you're not going to have a problem with these binding. At least I haven't yet, and I've put hundreds of magazines through it. I've never once had an issue with the magazine binding. So that's very nice. Well, you got a nice little blade safety in here, and if I just pull on side, that stops it. That's just a physical barrier at the top right there. There's a central blade safety there. I never even notice it I never even notice it when I'm pulling trigger. So that's kind of how it should be. You shouldn't notice that it's there only if it's only there kind of if something is going to go wrong. So we've got a few millimeters of uptake, and once we hit our wall, it's it's almost instantaneous between wall and brake. Maybe a millimeter of creep between a little bit of uptake there and a very, very positive trigger pull on it. It does have a full travel reset. Reset's about there, and I mean that's just the wall. So the same exact place where you're hitting that wall is the same place it's resetting, but quite frankly, it's not much travel. It's a nice crisp trigger. For the price of the gun, this trigger is outstanding. I wouldn't actually do anything to change it whatsoever. It's heavy enough that you're not going to accidentally, pull it, but it is positive enough that you're not going to wonder when it's going to fire. So for our slide controls here, we have got a physical safety, and that is just a front actuating safety like that. I do carry this with one in the chamber, so I do carry it with the safety on. I've got this whole thing about shooting myself twixt the nethers. I like everything attached and where it is, so I do keep it unsafe. But when I come out of the holster, my thumb is here because I'm pulling it up and out. So I just swipe down on that. It's an extremely easy swipe. You can get it with the middle of your thumb there. So it's up and out, and you're ready to go. It's not in the way, and as long as you train on taking this thing out of your holster, even just a little bit, you're going to get extremely used to the motion. It's just going to be bam. So the one biggest issue I have with this gun is the slide release. It is puny and it is angled, I don't know, in my opinion, stupidly, because it's extremely small. But if you want to drop your slide just using this, I mean, I can do it because obviously I've done it 1,000 times at this point. That's just my preferred method. I don't prefer, just racking it and dropping it. But for people using this gun for the first time, this is almost an impossibility. Even if they're very experienced, it's just too freaking tiny. Jeez, and it's in a fine spot. If there was a little more chunk to grab onto, it would be perfect. The slide itself is very heavy steel. It's nice and short, so it's going to keep the recoil as close to the webbing of your hand as low as possible. So this thing doesn't recoil very badly at all, even though it is a relatively light gun. That the slide itself is quite heavy. Teardown for it is not toolless, which is kind of always not my favorite thing in the world. But it's just a half back like that, and then you pop this little pin out, and then the slide pops off. So I mean, it's not hard. It's just a pain in the butt. As you can see, the barrel does tip back a bit, not extremely, but it's definitely noticeable. Not really probably a gun that you would want to thread and suppress, unless you want a suppressor flopping all over the freaking place. That's absolutely up to you, obviously. The gap between the actual frame of the gun and the slide is almost nothing. You can see it right there. They mesh extremely well. There's no undue wobble or anything like that on it. I've never had any problems with it cycling because of that. Let's see. Of course, you've got your nice little Picatinny rail up front here. I have got my Surefire XC1 on there. Always have a light on your gun. Always do it. Always have a battery in the light on your gun, because apparently I, neglected to do that this time around. My bad. But yeah, the XC1's a nice little light. Meshes really well with the gun. Keeps it very low profile. I didn't like my light sticking out like that, so that my bigger light actually went on the FNX. The barrel is a 4-inch and it's a tack driver if you know what you're doing with it. I've recently gotten more heavily into practicing with my pistols as opposed to just my rifles. So I've been getting better with it. I'm still not, great. I'm carry worthy. I'm gonna hit what I'm aiming at. Just, maybe a little high, maybe a little low, but it is a very, very accurate gun if you do a little training with it, spend a little time with it, know what you're doing. And right now it is zeroed at 5 yards. So the sights themselves are not terrible. Let's get some contrast behind that. There we go. They're not bad. I have to run them about there-ish, kind of a little bit. I run them a little bit low. That might just be the way I'm shooting, but they also may need to be adjusted. And you can adjust the rear here with this little screw for elevation. So that's about it for the breakdown. Now let's go put a few rounds through it.
Okay guys, so we're shooting from about the same distance as we did in the last couple videos with the revolvers there. If you haven't seen those, they're above somewhere. Yeah, this is about 7.5 yards-ish, 8 yards, somewhere in there. So I am gonna do 6 out of this mag, do a mag swap, and then 6 out of the second mag. I'm not gonna rapid fire. I'm just gonna try to nail the target. My estimate here is that I'm gonna go low left because that's how I shoot pistols and I need to compensate for that. But anywho, let's get to it. Low left. Low left. So the ammo I'm using is a Gila 9mm something, and it's a little bit underpowered, so it doesn't like lock in the slide all the way back. This is not a light slide. It's not like overly heavy or anything like that, but it definitely takes a full powder charge to lock it back. And these are just loaded a little bit lighter. That's what we're using right there. Boom. Yeah. So there we are. So yeah, that's why that slide didn't lock back. With any like Winchester White Box or even the Remington I've got in the car, it locked back just fine. I haven't had any feeding issues with them.
10 seconds later.
Ah! I was just gonna say how the Aguila is fine. Ah!
I haven't had any feeding issues with them.
But that lockback is an issue. I would never carry this stuff. Obviously, wouldn't carry ball ammo anyway. I carry hollow points, but yeah, this is definitely range-only ammunition. I got it because it was what they had at the time. It's a little hard to find ammo right now, as you may know, and it was also like 16 bucks a box for 50 instead of whatever insane price, 50, 60 cents around that other people are trying to get. So yeah, ammo problem, not a gun problem. Aiming, however, that's a me problem. Okay, we are empty on both. Weapon is clear. Let's see what damage we did. Okay, so I fired a total of 10 rounds, and it looks like I missed a couple. Definitely. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was 2, so that's 7. So there's three around here somewhere that missed. I am overcompensating for sure on my elevation. Like I said, this thing is zeroed at 5 yards. I'm shooting at 8, so I definitely need to just bring it up a bit. This is obviously not a gun problem. This is a me problem. But I mean, in general, it's hitting what it's aiming at. Okay, guys, so that is it. That is the lovely Ruger Security 9, chambered in 9mm, my personal favorite carry weapon. I've started training with pistols a lot more lately just because I realized that like I can kind of hit what I'm aiming at, but I don't want to kind of hit what I'm aiming at. I want to hit what I'm aiming at. So definitely train with your pistols. Don't just own a gun and think it's going to keep you safe. If you're carrying it, if it's in your nightstand, whatever, take the thing to the range. Find a friend with a yard who you can shoot in legally. and test the gun out, test yourself out, get yourself better at all of these skills, drawing the gun, switching mags, shooting the gun, hitting what you're aiming at. Slightly important things, definitely, especially if you're going to carry it, but even if it's just, like I said, sitting in a nightstand at home, if it's a gun that's meant to keep you safe, train with it. Learn how to use it, learn its nuances, know what your ammunition is going to do and what ammo you have in it. All of these things come with the package. You can't just own it and be safe with it. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Hit that sub button if you want more junk like this. I'll be out here for a few days filming, so hopefully I will have a steady stream stream coming over the next few weeks here. I'm going to release one video every 2 weeks instead of one video every week. It's a little harder for me to do it every single week with work and 2-year-old and all of the things. Anyway, thank you once again for joining me. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Don't lick any doorknobs. Sticking with it.